The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Now, the author of The Path of Least Resistance and the Tech Insider, David White.
Good afternoon, traders. Another gorgeous day from the home base, the World Center of Trading, TFNN.com, and Clearwater, Florida, its home base. I come to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at this time, and we're discussing March 23rd. Kind of a nice day, but it is National Puppy Day. If you're watching on Tiger TV, you'll see one of the loves of my life on there. That's little Gala, almost 14 years ago. And she, of course, has grown up to be a nice puppy, and we'll talk a little bit about that just before the end of the show. But always a big fan of the Schnauzer, non-shedding and hypoallergenic. Always a great match in a dog. But I'll always remember the day that I got all my dogs, but especially that one. Always remember that day, because I named her Gala because we'd gone earlier that day to the Dolly Museum, and the muse for Dolly, the artist, was Gala. And so I said, well, I don't have a great name, and I had to actually cough up a name right then for the vet so he could give her shots and everything. And I said, well, all I can think of is Gala, so we'll end up calling her that. So anyway, that is a picture of her, but one of the great loves of my life. It is National Puppy Day. Always make sure to spade and neuter your pets. And, one thing I didn't know before this week, there's things that on TV where they have Flip This House. I don't think that's on anymore, but it probably started right at the time the housing market crumbled. There were a bunch of shows like that on TV. But apparently, there is a business in puppy flipping. And that is people, if you give your puppy away, they will actually go back and then try to resell it. And if they can't resell it, then they give it back to the SPCA or the Humane Society. But they'll take all the free puppies and then try to resell them. And now they recommend a homing fee. So that if you pay at least $50 or $75 for a dog, even if it's not worth $50 or $75, at least the people aren't trying to go back and flip that puppy for some bucks to someone else and not really giving it a forever home like they deserve. On the radar today, BATS. If you've never heard of it, BATS is a electronic trading network, ECN. Just like 25 others, they happen to be very large, and a company I've done business with in the past and done some work for. They've got an excellent platform. Normally, it's pretty bulletproof. They went public today on the Amex, actually. It is BATS that they're trading under. They priced it about $16 last night, which is a little bit under what people were thinking, somewhere between $18.50. Kind of interesting that they didn't get what they were thinking. I think that's probably I didn't look deep into the deal because most of these things do trade flat for a long time. But a glitch about 2 hours ago caused Apple to have a mini flash crash. Someone put in one single order. And apparently, from reading the BATS website, all the stocks between A and like AG, or no, it wasn't AG, it's like AZ or something, a little range of just a very certain range that actually them coming on and putting BATS on their own system actually caused a loophole where someone could put in a giant trade that was way under the market that actually executed and instantly hit the circuit breakers on the market and caused everybody a little bit of hiccup out there. If you've never been through one of those in front of the screen, it's always exciting to see these kind of things flash by. But no wonder for the worse. Apple was already down earlier this morning, and now it's off about $2.20 or so at $579.14. We continue to see a market that maybe up just a little, up about 4.5 on the S&P, up about almost 3 on the NASDAQ, and up almost 40 on the Dow. The dollar index is off 42 cents at 79.57 on the current contract. Gold's up $22.90. I've been looking at a little bit. Maybe we'll get into gold a little bit. I've been writing about it this week in the newsletter, and we'll probably talk a little bit about exhaustion moves because I'd been speculating that that's exactly what gold was doing, that it had some fairly decent support, and we were actually seeing it in some of the stocks out there, and we actually went long a couple of the stocks in the gold miners for a short trade. I don't know if this is a long-term deal, but I thought there was a nice little swing trade out here in some of the gold stocks, especially the way they've been acting, and we got some of my clients in those already. Other things going on. The Volt Assembly earlier this week, actually on Monday, went quiet. Especially in the Tech Insider, I'm spending a lot of time looking at battery technology. Kind of the funny thing is that I have a feeling that one of the reasons that the Volt Assembly line is going quiet is they're probably looking at a lot of battery technology that's coming online that's at least 2 to 3 times as better, maybe weighs as half as much, and will actually bring the cost down of these volts from the high 30s to probably something like $22,000 over the next 12 months, maybe even less than that. But there's battery technology that's proven, that's actually going to market here fairly shortly, that should make electric cars a little bit more affordable. The funny thing is that if you have to put in a new Volt battery pack in a year or 2 years, let's say that if enough of the cells fail, you basically have half the price of the car in a replacement of the battery pack. Just including the poor reviews that it got by Consumer Reports and some problems with electrical fires, this kind of looks like it's going to end up being the Etzel of the 21st century, as they continue to sell volumes that are below anything else that they make. But when you push a product out, normally it's not a failure because you pushed it out and it wasn't successful immediately. It was because you didn't rev it quickly enough and fast enough and drop the cost fast enough. Unfortunately, car companies are not really great at being very nimble and on their feet and changing things very quickly. I suspect that you will not see another Volt come down the assembly line. Normally when something this gets this much bad press, the only thing you can do is change the name. FAA is changing rules for takeoff. It's Angry Birds during takeoff on most planes. Looks like they are doing a review now, and I think a lot of people have figured out that really having your phone on doesn't do anything to make the plane crash or even affect the circuitry in the cabin. They've approved iPads actually to be used inside the cabins without their 4G circuitry, actually just the Wi-Fi version of it. But it looks like that a lot of that was just because they didn't want to test all the different radios that were available out there. And I think that they're finally coming to the idea now that for the most part, it's not going to matter if you're using a cell phone in the back of the cabin. And I think a lot of people are finally looking at that and ready for a change. We wanted to probably look at a few stocks. The first one I wanted to look at here today was the semiconductors. it looked like it had been topping out here. $35.49 on February 17th. And that's pretty much what you were thinking at here. $35.49, 2.6 million shares. We tried over the last few days, 1.4 million shares, 860,000 shares. Yesterday we had 820,000 shares. Went above that previous high, closed below it. A standard Wyckoff sell signal. Going to be pulling back and having yet a second doji here in 2 days. When you actually look at it, we could have a nice little pullback here. I think today, when we look at the volume and the chance to go lower, it looked a little weaker to me. And I still think that we are going to do one of two things. One, pull back to 1375 on the S&Ps, and then go back up and try 1425, or we're going to go right now and try test 1425. One of the things that I have yet to see, which would make me think that this is the end of this particular rally, is some wild action in very small cap and dollar stocks. Normally, the last thing that happens is you see a ton of them run. I've seen this many times over the years. I think it was 2004, 2005 range. There was, in that period off the lows, the very end of those rallies saw a lot of stocks. And I remember I played a few of them that I made some big bucks on them. One of them was Siri. If you go back and look at that time frame, you're going to see that I think they had a couple of lows in there where they had tested previous lows on like half or a third of the volume. And I picked up and traded some of those. There were some other ones in that time period. But it was a time period when a lot of big stocks were absolutely doing nothing. They were kind of flapping around, kind of like what we're seeing now. But there was about a month or 2 months where the small caps really ran, caught up to all their big cap counterparts, and then that particular rally was over. I suspect that we're probably waiting for something like that or similar. That is, that we're going to see a few of these fairly inexpensive stocks really take off, and that will probably, or at least small caps, let me put it that way, if not inexpensive stocks. We're going to see a lot of those run, and that's probably going to be fairly close to the end of this rally. But when we look at semiconductors, pretty good indication. The energy was not all that bad on the way up. We do still have kind of a high volume low back here on a heavy day on March the 5th, where we actually on the SMHs had 4.2, almost 4.3 million shares. That's pretty much the highest day of the last 14, 20 trading days, and I suspect that we could have a nice little pullback in the semis. We might see some sector rotation that actually takes us up to that 1425, but seeing some weakness in here. When we come back, we're going to start talking a little bit about gold and Goldfinger. Gold member. Gold.
Here's what people are saying about Tiger TV.
Let's go to John in Tampa. Hey, John, what's going on?
Hi, Tom. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. You having a good day out there?
A wonderful day. I love your Tiger TV. I watch it every day. I'm like a kid in a candy store.
Oh, man, I appreciate you out there watching it. How long have you been watching the Tiger TV?
I'm watching almost a month now, and it's wonderful.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it's cool. You see the charts and everything. Thanks so much for the hard work.
Tiger TV, a great news service from TFNN.com. TFNN is proud to bring you the cutting edge of investment newsletters. Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Ken is a top-down investor who lets price and volume in the major stock indices tell him when to be in the market and when to be out. By using his unique blend of fundamental and technical analysis, Ken will protect your hard-earned capital while realizing breakout gains. Go to TFNN.com today, click Investment Newsletters, and get Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks free for 2 weeks.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective and maximize your returns. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, co-host of The Money Masters with Tom O'Brien, seen daily at TFNN.com, author of Mastering Probabilities, a daily investment and trading newsletter, and teacher of the money game. Studies show that 3 out of 5 people are afraid for their life in trading these markets, and the number one reason given is fear of loss. Look, fear stands for false evidence appearing real, and the money game proves it. Lesson number 1, don't risk more than 1% of your trading capital on any trade. Why, you ask? Because 35 trades in a row where you risk 50 cents and make $1 are all you need to double your trading capital, versus the 230 losing trades in a row you would need to bring your balance to $100. Let me teach you more about the money game risk-free for 30 days. Go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, for your 30-day risk-free trial. You were born to be a money master, and I'll teach you how.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
This segment is brought to you by Goldfields. For more information, just click the Goldfields banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
As we come back, we're going to take a little bit of look at gold here. One of the things I've been talking about in my newsletter is exhaustion moves, and especially when you see all the energy come out of a stock or even a commodity, you can actually see the energy almost all taken up at once. And in gold here, this is one of the things I wanted to show is this huge day in GLD, monster volume, huge candle. And normally you don't want to play these the next few days because you can get candles that match these. But normally if you go about 3 or so days beyond that and you don't get yet another big day down, you're probably not going to go one. A lot of times these exhaustion days turn stocks or commodities sideways for a while. And you basically get everybody washed out at once. And you get some fairly interesting patterns out of these. I know some people think gold's going a lot lower, and it may over time. I suspect what we have is at least a short-term bottom in gold, and maybe it's setting up an ABC down or something. But when you see these huge volume days and you don't find the follow-through for several other days after that, it becomes a lot of times fairly clear that you're going to make a decent move back up on these. If you're short, a lot of times it's worth getting out. I've been talking about that, I think, since Monday in the newsletter, maybe Wednesday, I can't remember. But what you really watch for in these huge days where all the energy comes out at once, Wyckoff called those exhaustion moves or selling climaxes. But you get those kind of moves. Now, one of the things, if you go back and look at it, you start putting the picture together on those, is other charts. And let's show Eldorado Gold here. Kind of interesting. It is got a nice little move off the bottom, but it has gone down and tested these lows. The December 19th low, $12.84, 10 million shares. So you had a big, fat, ripe target out there, high volume. Probably a good chance that since we came into that on Thursday with just less than half the volume, 4.5 million shares yesterday, any move and a close back up above that $12.84 would be a nice buy signal. You see a little pop out of here, and probably not so bad volume for Friday. Normally you have a little bit of move in gold back up. I suspect that the move in gold may not be as long as we would like, but it may be a little longer than some people that think it's going much farther down. And the reason is China. I suspect from anecdotal evidence and some news reports, we've been watching about the arguments in China between the capitalist and the communist sectors on there. And from anecdotal evidence that I've read about over the last couple of days, it looks like a lot of Chinese are looking at their market slowing down and transferring a lot of what they have into gold over the last few days, maybe making a at least temporary bottom in gold. Anyway, nice little pop out of here. There's several other gold stocks out there that if you're interested in that, you probably ought to be looking at them and see how many of them made some fairly lengthy bottoms, maybe over the last 2-3 months with lighter volume. But this is Eldorado Gold's done it twice here. We've seen the low down here at $12.87. Didn't quite hit it. Still 3 cents higher on that February 14th low, although it came with very light volume. So you get what is known as an automatic rally. The gap up around, what is that? Like 16 to 1650 or so in the EGO. You start seeing that this is making up a nice trading range. We have a little higher volume down here, but we actually did touch it yesterday. Close back below it and go back above it. And a nice little note here from G7 in the Den. BATS global markets will not be reopened on Friday, according to Bloomberg. So, there's still 24 other ECNs out there that are running, but it's always interesting to know that people think you can program for literally everything, and there's always something that you didn't know, and you can't figure on what you don't know, and it's always being a programmer and an engineer in electronics. It's always that thing that people don't know about that always bites you, especially in the stock market. Kind of a big ouch for them on their IPO day to take a look at it. When we come back, we've got a request from the Den. I'm going to go through that. You can always give me a call at 877-927-6648.
In just December of last year, the price of gold was down over 10%. In today's highly volatile gold market, you need someone in your corner that understands the complex relationships that exist within the price of gold, as well as within a variety of gold equities. Whether it's the South African gold miners and knowing how the Rand-dollar relationship will affect their bottom line, or understanding how John Paulson's $5 billion trade in the GLD can move the market, Tom O'Brien gives you the direction you need to become a better trader each week in his newsletter, The Gold Report. With over 20 individual equities covered and almost another 20 on the potential watch list each week, in addition to covering the XAU, HUI, GLD, and dollar, The Gold Report is a great source for any trader that is looking to be diversified in today's volatile gold market. For your 30-day free trial to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, log on to TFNN.com today. Don't miss out on this great offer. Act now.
folks, this is Tom O'Brien. If you want to get great trade setups in equity as well as the option market, come over to TFNN.com and test drive my daily newsletter, Market Insights, for 2 weeks absolutely free. Each trade setup comes with a profit projection as well as stop placement. Included in Market Insights is a Twitter alert service. This allows you to take advantage of intraday setups. Volatility is back in the markets. What does that mean to you? To me, it spells short-term opportunity each and every day. The days of trending up on lighter volume are gone. We have come off the highs with volume across the globe. Don't get caught in a complacency trap. Many of the indices have given back 2 months of trading in 1 week. We have a trader's market. You can take advantage of this trader's market by test driving my daily newsletter, Market Insights, free for 2 weeks. Market Insights will give you the edge you're looking for in the markets. Go to TFNN.com under newsletter. Hit the Market Insight tab for your 2-week free test drive right here, right now.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Smith Barney. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportion of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney believes that a carefully selected portfolio can lower volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Smith Barney financial advisor can do for you. Call Angela O'Brien, First Vice President and Certified Financial Planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC. Member SIPC.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
This segment is brought to you by Direction Shares. To learn more about tactical tools for the sophisticated active investor, hit the Direction Shares banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
As we come back, you can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. And I'll be glad to take your phone call, especially today. It's kind of quiet going into the end here. Maybe you have a question about a particular stock or maybe something with a bigger, broader paintbrush. But you can always give me a ring. We'd be glad to talk to you. Today we've got Steve Rhodes out, and he's in Denver today. I talked to him early this morning. Sent him some emails. He sent me some back as he was getting ready for his Master Trader series. You can always go to the front page of TFNN and sign up for yours. He's going to be doing it April 13th and 14th here in Tampa, and April 27th and 28th in Boston. So you can always sign up and get a field trip from our wonderful Steve Rhodes, man of action, boy wonder, and always looking up. As we come back, I was going to look at Pan American Silver. Symbol is PAAS. We've got another good example of how some of these metals had been putting in some nice low-volume lows. The one I was looking at in PAAS, which is Pan American Silver, of course, is the January 25th low at $21. Came in at 6.3 million shares. And if you can hang on just a second, I'm going to see if I can't get something done here. Is that it? I got to just do just a second of housekeeping here. Let me see here. Where is that darn thing at? Okay, hopefully it is restarted. Anyway, as we look on this, that 6.3 million share low, $21 even, 6.3 million shares, January 25th. Got into that just under $20.83, 1.7 million shares. You should be able to see it now on Tiger TV. We're back up and flying, thanks to our friend in there, Al, our wonderful engineer. Let us know that we had a little bugaboo. Anyway, this is a pretty good indication that you're going to have at least a short-term bounce. Even if energy is strong on the way down, a good indication when you come in with, 30% of the volume, 1/3 of the volume, something like that. A pretty good indication you're going to get a nice little bounce. We certainly did with Pan American Silver and in the metals. But the key, I think, leading into this, if you were reading my newsletter, was looking for those exhaustion moves. And they do tend to turn the market sideways. They may even drift a little bit lower down, like gold and even silver have over the last few days. But you get into those tests when you get close, and you get a nice little signal, a nice little bounce on the backside, and that's the way markets work. If they don't have enough energy to break out the bottom at this moment, then they'll go try to take out the top. Now, maybe we just get a 50% retracement on these, but maybe we're short silver or gold. It was probably a good indication that the at least near-term bottom was not too far off. The next stock I want to look at was Penn National Gaming. Maybe I need to look at a little bit longer time frame here. Yeah, that's what it is. Another stock kind of making a nice hanging curveball out here. The one I'm looking at is it had a huge day, and this is kind of the example of the exhaustion move in the other direction. If we go back and look, the July 22nd high had 860,000 shares, but the day before it, 1.8 million shares. So you had this huge move up and a huge gap, and it basically uses all the energy up at one time. And that sets the long-term high that we've just come in and tested the last few days. That's the July 22nd high of last year, $44.29, 860,000 shares. Now we get into that on March, the last couple of days here. I'm going to zoom in just so I can get the volume a little bit better. But Wednesday we come up with 455,000 shares, 250,000 shares yesterday. So it gives you a good indication that when you come in these highs, it had very strong energy down. It basically blew apart in probably 7 or so trading days down to the August 8th low of last year. And, you came back, you went below with a lighter volume on October 4th. And that kind of pushed that next move up. It came back one more time to the support level, and it's kind of drifted all the way up here. Not huge volume, but consistent volume. But now we see these tops kind of form and come in. And even though the indexes are going a little higher today, seeing a lot of these stocks run into resistance and probably going to go into what I think is more of sector rotation. A little bit more on the silver, although I don't think it's as quite a good indicator as some of the others. Pretty good indication that there's a floor in here in the Sprott Physical Silver Trust. We know how it's overpriced, and that can be an issue. But it does look like as we come into here that over the last, 6 months, back to September 26th, we started seeing major bottoms come in around $13. On September 26th, it was $13.25. We saw it get down, kind of push down, just like we saw in the in some other stocks, December low, where it kind of pushed back, bop back up, and it's been bouncing around these lows out here. 1311 as the low yesterday, 1.4 million shares. Not as good an indicator as some other ones, but you were going against that original 2.1 million share low back in September of 26. So you continue hammering on those. One I really keyed off on, and I'll zoom in here for you, is again another exhaustion move. You had that big move down. You had a doji on it, and it reversed right off of it, and that was the January 18th low. You see that gap came down, huge exhaustion, and then that's it. No follow-up for 2 or 3 or 4 days. You should see another gap down like that if you're really going to see the thing fall apart, and it didn't happen. Now, again, this could be kind of the pattern we're looking at happening all over again in gold and some of these other ones. And that is, it can't break out the bottom, so it'll go try to break out the top. It went right back up to the top gap. Another huge volume day, and that was on February 29th. You see those big days a lot of times, not near the volume you would call for an exhaustion day, but certainly a reversal. And on that day, we actually see this thing kind of pulling back down and finding a floor, at least for a short term in this. Maybe we're going to make another 50% retracement back up. And then come back and bust these out. But right now, pretty good indication that we probably have a week or 10 days in gold and silvers for them to actually try one more time to go a little higher. Another one making a very clear kind of topping formation is Regeneron Pharmaceuticals. That is REGN. And again, I think we still have, we got plenty of time in the segment, another 7 minutes. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648, and we can discuss your stock or maybe what you would like to talk about. But it is, let's see what we got here. If I can flip through enough of these. And what do we have? There we go. What I'm looking at in this symbol is REGN if you're listening at home, not watching like you should be on Tiger TV. And also, all these shows are now archived, so you can go to my channel, which I think is channel 14 on Tiger TV, and see all these archived also. But in this pharmaceutical, we see a high out here, February 13th, 116.93, 4.1 million shares. Again, you see that gap come up. It's the exhaustion day, one day with very big volume. And then these moves of the last few days have all been extremely light volume. About 600,000 shares, 800,000 shares, 1.1 million shares, 700,000 shares, 400,000 shares today. So we continue to see these things kind of moving at light volumes at tops. Probably a good time if you had been in this thing for a little while to get out of these, but be very interesting. And let's see, what's the next stock we want to look at today? Another one is Pembroke Hotel Trust. That's PEB. That is the symbol. And it's Pembroke Hotel Trust. Seeing a lot of these ETFs in the, especially in the real estate field, that are out here kind of testing the top with high volume. This one tested at about half volume. We've got Bob from Massachusetts on the line. How you doing today, Bob?
Doing well, Dave. Doing well. Enjoying your discussion on the gold stocks and metals and how they're making these downdrafts, but then there's no follow-through on it. And I was just wondering if this little stock, Great Basin Gold, symbol GBG, kind of meets that pattern.
Well, you certainly have the gap down, and then it goes sideways. But I have a feeling that's more of an issue with gold itself, since it's down here at 70 cents or something.
Yeah.
But I guess this goes back into a bigger discussion, which is something I was talking about in my newsletter maybe a week ago, or actually 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. And that is how a lot of times I want to see extremely light volume in stocks, but a lot of times the discerning movement in commodities are super blowouts. Super high volume, then no retracements. So what you had here is this huge volume, and normally these exhaustion moves will do one of two things. One, they'll go sideways like this one did. Okay. This isn't as good a signal as some of the ones we saw like EGO.
Okay.
Because in EGO we got the test and then it automatically went. The other thing is this really doesn't have anything it's testing against, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of in no man's land. So when I look for those, the ones I would like to play or I find that are significant are more going to be ones that have something to test. Like we had this slam down in gold in like EGO. We had a nice level of support fairly close. And I suspect that since this didn't have anything in the way of a support level, no one really knows what to do on it. It hadn't given any signal, and it's just going to go sideways for a while.
I see. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Dave. I sure appreciate your program. I tune in all the time, and I'm really enjoying the Technology Investor, Technology Insider Investment newsletter.
Is it already out already? Have they sent it out?
I've been checking my email. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Normally they get it out about this time of day. I send it in at about 1 o'clock, but we'll have to. Okay. It'll probably be out in the next few minutes. But cool.
Okay. Thanks so much, David.
I guess this whole thanks, Bob. The whole discussion of finding what makes exhaustion days. I kind of use a 3-day rule. You ought to have. It's going to do one of two things. A lot of times exhaustion moves are going to make it go sideways for a while and then go lower, or you're probably going to get about 2 or 3 days and then it's going to pop. And when we go back and look at a good example at the moment, and that is Eldorado Gold. You get the test. Of course, BGB didn't have that test, but you had a very clear test. And as soon as this thing moved back above $12.84, I'm talking about EGO, you had at least a signal. You had something that you could actually be thinking about. So it is, just one of those things that it's without a signal, you're not the only people that can't trade it. And I think that some of these others had some nice bounces because there was at least some technical indicator where other people, which is, it almost becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and that because you see it, others see it, they're going to do and play it maybe the way you are and be a buyer of it because of no volume too. So you almost have to get in that and see that some other people in it. There was somebody in the den that asked for something, and I got at it. He wanted me to look at CAF. And that's Morgan Stanley China Shares Fund. I think this was on the discussion of we continue to see strife in the political part of China, where we have a lot of the capitalists and the communists fighting for control over the company. Slowly over the last few years, we've really seen the movement of the capitalists inside the ruling class move it. I guess the question is whether or not we're going to see China kind of fall apart. I've been kind of talking about China's political strife for the last probably 2 weeks on this show, where we started seeing some reports about it. We are at a support level now in the China Fund. I guess that's what he wanted me to look at. You've got two nice kind of gaps down here that could get tested. But to me, it actually looks like it's at support level now. Not seeing a lot of volume in it today. Maybe this will be where we start getting a little bit of a push next week, and maybe it'll bring our markets up with it. But probably have to wait till Monday on that. Anyway, we'll be back in just a minute. Again, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648.
In the world of financial markets, there's a new player in town with an exciting new way to trade the markets. Nadex now offers binary options as well as bull spreads in a wide range of indices, along with commodity and forex markets. With as little as $100, you can gain access to a new way to trade global financial markets while guaranteeing that your risk will always be capped. Nadex allows you to multiply your trading opportunities in ways never imagined before and access markets you once thought were out of reach. With short-term trading opportunities available, including binary options expiring each hour the market is open, Nadex allows you to take advantage of a variety of market conditions regardless of volatility or market direction. Now is the time to take advantage of this exciting new market. Don't let this trading opportunity pass you by. Open your account today by clicking on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Nadex, a better way to trade.
TFNN is proud to bring you the cutting edge of investment newsletters. Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Ken is a top-down investor who lets price and volume in the major stock indices tell him when to be in the market and when to be out. By using his unique blend of fundamental and technical analysis, Ken will protect your hard-earned capital while realizing breakout gains. Go to TFNN.com today, click Investment Newsletters, and get Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks free for 2 weeks.
Hi folks, turns out my best student became my best teacher. Steve Rhodes absolutely raised my standards, and I'll guarantee he'll raise yours.
Thanks, Tom. What I've learned is that if you want more, you must become more, and that transformation, folks, that occurs the moment you decide to become a master. Now, the quickest way to mastery is through immersion, and for 2 solid days in Denver, Boston, and Tampa, I'll create a new standard of wealth for those few trader investors who have a burning desire to succeed. At my Master Trader course, I'll teach you how to create the ultimate money machine. These are the best-kept secrets in the business. Roadblocks, folks. Dabblers give up when they first appear. Stressors last just a little bit longer, but masters expect roadblocks and achieve extraordinary results when they bust right through them. I have all the benefit of knowing the type of wealth creation that I can generate for you. You don't. That's why I'm making this unconditional money-back guarantee. If for any reason you're not satisfied with my Master Trader course, I'll refund every penny. That's right. I take all the risk, and you get all the benefit. Go to the homepage at TFNN.com and sign up today.
Put the power of the Chapman Wave methodology to work for you. No matter what market you trade, what time frame you trade in, or your trading style, the opening call, Basil Chapman's daily market newsletter, is bursting with the information and trades you need to become a more successful trader.
I've been using Basil Chapman's Chapman Wave methodology for several years now. His Chapman Wave can be used for any time period for not only equities, but futures, currencies, commodities. I've been also a subscriber of his opening call, which I find an invaluable tool to help me analyze the potential of the market each day. He gives you opportunities to go short and long. It includes recommendations on stocks. I strongly recommend people using the Chapman Wave, and I very, very strongly support the use of his opening call.
To find out more about Basil Chapman and his Chapman Wave methodology, and to get your 2-week free trial of the opening call, a $64 value, visit TFNN.com today.
Here's what people are saying about Tiger TV.
Let's go to John in Tampa. Hey, John, what's going on?
Hi, Tom. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. You having a good day out there?
A wonderful day. I love your Tiger TV. I watch it every day. I'm like a kid in a candy store.
Oh, man, I appreciate you out there watching it. How long have you been watching the Tiger TV?
I'm watching almost a month now, and it's wonderful.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it's cool. You see the charts and everything. Thanks so much for the hard work.
Tiger TV, a great news service from TFNN.com. Catch Tom O'Brien, founder and CEO of TFNN, professional trader and educator. Also a special guest on CNBC, analyzing the commodity markets. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
As we come back, we're going to go through a few more stocks. Still have plenty of time for you to give me a call at 877-927-6648. One of the other stocks that I had in the newsletter this week, just to give you an indication of what's moving, what looks like it's topping out here, is CBL and Associates. They are properties, and again, we had kind of a tepid number for housing today. Kind of put a little damper on a couple of those housing stocks. But got kind of a clear indication that we'd been topping out in this one for a few days as we got to this high. The February 8th high was $18.71, 2.6 million shares. We've gotten up here the last 4 days as we've gone through that high. And what do we've got? 1.1, 800,000, and 1.8. yesterday, but we're going to come in at 1.3, 1.5 today. It is moving sideways, so you have to continue watching it and probably worry about the last July 7th high out here. But you could get back up and go, could it go up to 1933 and still see it? We have a lot of these already giving those some fairly weak signals. Could they go up another $1.60, something like that? They could, but we are having some at least short-term signals that are saying that there are many more stocks out here that are topping out. Another one I know that gave a fairly clear signal this week of topping out was Cree. And not so much topping out as probably giving a little bit of rest as it goes sideways. But you had what is going to be long-term resistance as it goes against it. Symbol is CREE. The November 4th high out here had 9.3 million shares. Again, one of those huge volume days with no follow-through the next day. Within 3 days, you turn back the other side. Pretty good example of an exhaustion day on that November 4th high. 9.3 million shares, $31.34. Now, that's going to act as resistance as we get back over there. I always like to use the highest volume on the left-hand side that hasn't been tested or broken. And we get through that on March 19th, 4.4 million shares. So, again, a good example of coming up to a previous high that had over twice as much volume. And not being able to within a day, it's back under that high, gives you a pretty good example that at least if you're looking at a short-term trade, it's probably topped out. You could also look at the energy to see whether this thing's ready to come back the other way. You have two nice gaps below that are not on high volume, about 4 million shares. You can see a nice little pullback if you're thinking about these, back into those gaps in the 29.50 range. It's down at $28 too. But that's one of them. We saw, let's see, what is that? Another one in the hospitality range out here. Hospitality Trust. HPT is a symbol on it. Another good example of these high volume highs out there getting tested on a lighter volume. Symbol is HPT. And we're looking at the July 26th high of last year, $25.74, 1 million shares. We came into that with a high of 410,000 shares on the 19th and kind of rolled back over and back down here. Now, you had just a huge move on this. Most likely, a lot of these stocks that have topped out are probably going to pull back a little bit, and then we're going to get one more test back there. I think that's coming probably maybe Wednesday of next week. We'll be taking a look at those. Anyway, if you'd like to look at charts every morning like this, you can get a 2-week trial of the path of least resistance. Go to the front page of TFNN.com. And hang on for Tom O'Brien. He's right in the wings. Coming out here in just a second.